Hello, and welcome to the Straight to the Source podcast. I'm Tanya Barr.
And I'm Lucy Allon, and we're looking forward to taking you straight to the source of the people driving our food and hospitality industry forward. Today's guest is Helena Moursellas, a cook, author, and all-round food lover. Alongside her identical twin Vicky, Helena has turned a lifelong passion for Greek food into an incredible career. And her and Vicky's latest book, Opa, is a joyful celebration of culture, family, and flavour. You might remember Helena and Vicky as finalists from My Kitchen Rules back in 2015, the sassy twins from South Australia who wanted to share the Greek food and traditions they learned from their grandmother with the world. But what might look like overnight success from being on a TV show is actually the result of years of hard work behind the scenes. And I'm so excited to welcome Helena into the studio today to chat about what sparked her love of food and the journey that's brought her to where she is today.
Today's episode is proudly brought to you by our friends at Unox Australia, industry leaders in cutting-edge kitchen technology and innovation.
Helena,
Hi.
welcome to the studio. It's really wonderful to have you here today. I know that you're always a whirlwind of activity ever since I first met you.
1,000 things going on, but
Always,
yes.
always. And I know you've been absolutely non-stop since you got back from London in October last year, and you came back to launch your cookbook,
Yes.
Opa.
Yep.
Yeah?
Second book, Opa, recipes inspired by Greek tavernas. A whirlwind of blood, sweat and tears trying to get that all into one book of 80 recipes and all these beautiful stories.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about the cookbooks and your journey of becoming a cookbook author. But I wanted to start with what I think many people know you as an author, as a content creator, and they've been following your journey. But you first, I guess, came to attention when you and your sister Vicky were on My Kitchen Rules.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start our conversation there and understand or ask you what led you to audition for My Kitchen Rules.
Well, we were quite young. 23-year-olds entering this competition. We applied 3 times. We didn't get through the first time. The second time, we weren't what they were looking for. And the third time, they just called us and said, you're on our database, you're what we're looking for. So it was a whole, process. And when we had got the call, we weren't prepared for it. We were like, sure, why not? If you want us, we'll just do it. We were in Adelaide, but had moved to Melbourne. So at the time we were in Melbourne, they wanted us to represent Victoria, which was quite weird because we were Adelaide girls. And they were like, look, the Greek community's huge in Melbourne. We think you should represent Melbourne. And we were just so, I guess, innocent, young. We're like, we don't have any serious jobs now. Like, let's just do this. So, we got on and our lives changed forever. Like, I wouldn't be sitting here today without that show. So, I think reality TV has changed quite a lot since then. And now I don't think I would go on. If you'd asked me to go back on, I just couldn't do it. But our journey started back in 2014. We were filming. So it's almost been just over 10 years.
And you were known as the sassy twins. But also for your love of Greek food. And so what was it that you really wanted the audience to hear about Greek food?
Well, look, we grew up in a Greek-Australian household, and our grandmother, our yaya, she was there from a very young age. We lost our dad at 12 years old, and from that age, our grandparents stepped in as, the second parents. So for us, cooking was such a big part of our lives, and we just knew we loved to cook. Like, we didn't think of the show as like, oh, it's a reality TV show and we're going to make drama, all of that. We literally just wanted to cook Greek food that our yaya taught us how to cook. So, we wanted to share our love for Greek food, really.
And so you said that you applied a couple of times and then when you finally got accepted, did you have an outcome that you sort of thought might happen by going on TV? Or what was it like when you'd finished that process and what was the opportunity you saw that came out of it?
Look, when we got onto the show, the wardrobe girl that was putting us in our outfits, we asked her, like, what do we pack for? She said, look, if you make it to the end, you'll be here for 6 months. So in our heads, we're like, look, if we make it through the first round, cool, we might get something out of it. And we made it to the end, the semi-finals. So for us, we didn't really have a plan of what we wanted to do or where it would take us. We were just going with the flow, and we had no clue what reality TV could do to you for your future. But yeah, obviously fast forward to now, and it's brought us so many opportunities. So
was it the first time that you and Vicky had kind of cooked together in that style or format? Is that what kind of led to where you thought you might be able to do a cookbook together or work in food together?
Look, we're identical twins, so we do everything and, together. We live and breathe through each other. And at the time, I was a bit more obsessed with food and cooking. I applied for MasterChef, funny enough, but I only got through to a round where you go in and have an interview. It wasn't on the TV. So I kind of dragged Vicky along, and she was like, I'll just do it. So I think from that point on, we did everything in terms of cooking together, which led us to our cookbooks now. So
do you share a brain? Like, do you think very similarly, or are you kind of yin and yang?
Look, Vicky's more practical. She's more, she does things in a process. She's like quite OCD. She's got a formula, whereas I'm a bit chaotic. I just do things all over the place. So yeah, we both bring something good to the table. I think Vicky puts us more in line, and I'm just like, oh, whatever, we'll go with the flow. So it's a good mix.
A bit more intuitive and kind of like just work out what the opportunity is and
exactly. Yeah.
So you finished filming, you did really, really well in the show. So it must have given you some confidence in who you were as people and what you were doing with food. So what was the thought process then? What led you to continue working in food, and what did you do next?
Well, we had been in Melbourne living together. I just got out of a long-term relationship, and Vicky's like, I'm actually moving to Sydney because she'd met her partner. And I was like, well, I'm not staying here in Melbourne. And I'd followed her. And the minute we got to Sydney, there was an opportunity for us to work in a hotel where they had a restaurant, or they had a small part of the restaurant for us to look after. So that's where the journey kind of started. It was called Twofold. At the time, Vicky did not like it at all. She stepped away. She's like, the kitchen's not for me. But I stuck it out. And yeah, I just loved being in a commercial kitchen. So the journey kind of started from there for me. And that's where I learned like a lot of the, the basic stuff. It was more just being on the deep fryer and doing that kind of stuff.
But you learnt the rhythm of a kitchen
exactly.
and service and how it operates.
All of that. And that's when, look, I was in a position where I loved being there because it kept me busy. And I knew from 9 a.m. to, 11 o'clock, I was stuck there, and that's all I could focus on. So yeah, I became obsessed with it. For me, it was like I just wanted to learn more and more. But yeah, that part of our journey and our career kind of ended quite quickly, and that's when I stepped into wanting to get into another kitchen, and that's when I went to 414.
So working with Colin.
Working with Colin, yeah. So that kitchen was a very different environment. It was like, 9 guys. I was the only female. But yeah, you just build resilience, and you just build a shell. And I think, for me, that kitchen taught me a lot of that kind of army base, it was like in at 9, you've got your section, and 414 at the time there was 2 seatings, Friday, Saturday
busy.
night. It was crazy busy. And what I loved about it was they had the U-shaped counter where everyone would sit at the front. And I loved that interaction, talking to people, and the rhythm of like plating up a dish and picking up your mise en place. It was like I think of it now, and I've got PTSD when I do think of it, because I don't know if I could do it now, but I do really miss just
the
that
adrenaline
flow, the adrenaline, exactly.
I think there is a real adrenaline. I think it's very it is addictive, and it's something that when you find it, and if you love it, it's the calling for you.
Yeah, and you can't explain it once you're in it. It's like, I remember on Saturday nights we would always throw salt over our shoulder for good luck for the service, and I'd feel like I'm jumping on a football field to play a game, and it was just like we got to win this, and that focus. So.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's that team environment, and I do love that about kitchens. And I know that there are kitchens that are tougher than others, but I know that that hierarchy is very important in the structure of service. And interesting to say what you said about toughening you up, but because I know you very well, and I know that you don't take BS from people. So, but being able to operate as part of a team is
I loved it.
An incredible learning of the restaurant industry and something that, that structure is important to service. But I know that you went on to work for Danielle Alvarez at Fred's as well, which I can imagine was a very different dynamic and environment.
It was. So after 414, I went to Denmark. I worked in Copenhagen for a year. I did stages there. And then once I left there, I came back to Sydney and I contacted Danielle. And she gave me a position, just CDP in Larder. And it was such a different experience. I'll never forget when I put my first plate of food down, she told me how beautiful the plating was. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, wait, what? And she's like, it's beautiful plating. So, she really taught me a different, environment that you could be surrounded in a kitchen. I didn't know you could feel that feeling. So, it was a really special place to work.
So a feeling of pride in what you had put on the plate.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It was, pride. It was just her believing in you as well. And you can, you can do this. It's not as hard as you think it is. I think we put pressure on ourselves to make every dish perfect when really what you're doing is already perfect. It's just this rhythm. So yeah, I loved it.
And that amazing kind of mentorship is really important as well to build people's confidence in what they're doing.
100%. And the best part about that Fred's experience was I'd never worked in the pastry section, never done desserts. I was always a savoury girl. And I said to Danielle, I wouldn't mind doing, pastry. And she'd put me on my first Saturday night. And it was different because at Fred's you had Saturday nights were like pre-ordered menus. So everyone had their desserts in already. So you knew what you were getting. And I loved it. Like it was fun. It was good. It was, I got to learn how to make the fougasse spread in the morning as well. But a lot of my pastries like that I know to this day are from Danielle. So
amazing. And then we met when you were working at Delicious. Tell us about that role.
Yeah. So I actually was doing work experience at Delicious whilst working at Fred's. Colin had, I'd reached out to him and said, hey, can you get me some work experience there? He said, look, it's not the easiest place to get a job, but I'll put you in contact and see how you go. So I'd gone to Delicious and got work experience. I'd met Phoebe there. Within 2 weeks, there was a position available for assistant food editor. And I spent, 4.5 years there. So I loved that job. I really did. I gave it my everything. So.
And what did you learn in contrast to being in a sort of restaurant service environment?
Look, I think it was with Delicious. It was more about it was different because you had to all the recipes. It was like being perfect at testing them and getting it right. There was no rushing. I could really take my time and enjoy the process. But it was all very new. I just, even working 9 to 5:30, I was like, what do you mean I get the night off and I don't have to work a Saturday night? So that was a huge change.
Yeah. But I know you worked very, very hard there because we worked on a number of years of the Produce Awards and organising that incredible.
Which for me, I still say to this day was my favourite part of being at Delicious. And I did, like 4 or 5 of them. I loved it.
Even through COVID when we had to pack boxes and deliver
we had
them
to deliver them to the doors and we had to, label the pre-made box. Oh, it was really special.
It's wonderful to hear because I think people have this conception that you can go on a TV or, reality TV show and from there you might, these doors open and it's an overnight success story. And I think what your journey shows is that the TV side of things brought out your talent and your passion. But from there, you knew that you really needed to kind of learn the ropes and really bed down your skills, which you did. You really put the hard yards into learning that. And that, I think people, a lot of the people we work with at Straight to the Source, they do look like very quick, successful brands. But when you really dive into it, you realize there's been at least a decade of hard work behind 100%. The scenes and really doing the hard yards. So, I really take my hat off to you for taking that time to learn the industry and really learn where your love of food lay and how you could bring that to life. And what that's evolved into is obviously you're a cookbook author with your sister, but you're also working in lots of different capacities. You've been in London recently, so tell us about that.
Yeah, so yes, coming back to what you said, the journey is long and I'm so grateful that I worked in those kitchens because I just wouldn't be the cook I am today without that experience, which, I'm extremely grateful for. But London was Very random. Always in the back of my head, I always wanted to go. But the age of the visa was cut off at 31. And this last year, they changed it to 35. So, yeah, went to London and did 14 months, which was really scary, but also, quite exciting and challenging. I'd stepped into more of like food styling and photo chefing, it's quite different over there. The photo chef is also the food stylist. So I did a lot of assisting and also just working with brands to create, recipe videos and content. So that's kind of my main ish job now is creating, beautiful recipes and content for different brands. And then obviously Oppa comes into that as well.
Yeah.
So
just being in London and looking back at Australia, does it give you a different perspective of what you thought about food in Australia?
Look, I think Australia, we are quite focused on our produce, and I'm quite proud that I know all the restaurants here do, are quite passionate about what we put on the plate. And I love that about Australia. I think being in the UK, it is a bit more fast-paced and they do focus on their produce as well. But yeah, I think Australia's evolving and we're always at the top of the food chain. And I think we've got, a beautiful restaurants and chefs that appreciate our produce. But London, I don't know. I think it's such a multicultural country. I didn't realize that until I got there. It's it's a whole nother world.
Yeah. It's funny because I think often when I travel, I do look back at Australia and I think, God, we are so lucky with what we have access to in terms of produce, quality of food, variety of restaurants. And we are also in a really diverse, cultural mix of different cuisines, which when you're in it, you don't appreciate it. When you step away, you sometimes,
100%.
really, really appreciate that. And what I loved about Oppa, because I was lucky enough to come to your beautiful book launch, is the story behind it, which was traveling around Greece. You were with your mum, weren't you?
Yeah, so mum and I I've been doing a lot of research over the years, but last year mum and I took about a 2-month trip in Greece and we captured, stories and recipes from the Tavernes, which is like a family-run restaurant. And the whole idea was to capture a recipe and a story and just really, share that with people and hold on to their stories. But it was a beautiful journey. It wasn't easy. Some places were, didn't understand the concept of what we were doing. So I had to take our previous book, Be Now, and show them that it's actually a real book we're creating. It's not just a little printed thing. But Oppa really, really captures the essence of Greek culture and what we love about Greece. It's the people, it's the stories and the food and that's what Oppa is.
So what I really love about your approach to that, I mean, it's a beautiful cover, but
thank you.
The fact that visiting different places and talking to different people and celebrating those stories is such a quintessential essence of place. And that's what food is all about, you know.
100%.
When you journey through different countries, you get that taste of place, but you get the stories from the people. And I love the fact that you took that approach and brought that to life through the recipes that you shared. Was there a dish, a conversation, a memory that you really hold on to from that journey that really stood out for you?
Yeah, there is one. There's Kyria Sofia. She was my favorite. She's on an island called Amorgos, which is in the Clithkades, in the blue and white islands that everyone knows. And I actually got in contact with her the year before. My cousins had gone and visited her and they said, you have to go to this taverna. She's just off this beaten track. You need to drive down this long road off, which is kind of at the end of the island and there's no internet. And she has a beautiful wood oven, but her whole concept is that she only cooks the right amount of food for the people that book a table. So she doesn't just have loads of food. She'll cook on the day for whoever's called her the day before. So I'd called her months before and I tried to explain what I was doing. She's like, look, don't worry, just come. I've got your name down. It's Helena, 3 people. I'll have what you need. And when we had arrived, she was just such a beautiful soul. She was so excited to just see me. We had never met. And she was plating up our food. I'd gone in the kitchen and started chatting to her and she had opened this container of tzatziki and she's like, see, I left this because I knew you were coming. And it was everything she'd done is just with meraki, which means the eye, and she takes care of the food. And she's just I really loved her energy. And the recipe we took from her was revithia, which is like baked chickpeas. It was a recipe that her father had given her, and she cooks it in her, beautiful outdoor wood oven. But yeah, she was a really lovely lady, I have to say. She was my favorite.
It sounds like she really took the approach of truly welcoming people into her home and cooking for them, like, that true sense of hospitality.
Yeah, that's exactly what she did. And she was happy to share her story. She sat down with us. We were there for like 2 hours. She was probably the longest one that gave us her time. But, she had nowhere to be. She just wanted us to hear her story. She was telling us about when she was younger. And yeah, it was really cute. We drank, what were we having? We had coffee with her and just sitting, it was really special.
And so what do you think people misunderstand about Greek food?
I think it's such simple, like we really just focus on the ingredients. It's just simple ingredients and produce. I think a lot of places around Greece, like every island's known for something different. Amorgos is known for its chickpeas, for its raki, this psimeno raki. Each island offers something different, but the Greeks they love cooking their dishes with love. They love keeping tradition alive. And a lot of the food just doesnn't change. It's made with how they made it back in the day.
Yeah.
So,
And that really comes through in the book. The stories are really beautiful. And I think you really get that. It really evokes that sense of, like I said, place and history and culture.
Which is what we wanted to do. We really wanted to capture that feeling in oppa. And a lot of people have told us, like when we read the recipes, they've had that dish before. So that's what, oppa is about.
Wonderful. And so why the name?
Well, I feel like it's a word that a lot of people know. It's a word that it expresses like joy, celebration. We all know it for like oppa, smashing plates, which is like an old tradition. But I think even now it just really captures the Greeks' personality. I feel like a lot of Greeks will use it in terms like, oppa, you didn't marry a Greek man, or oppa, you arrived early, or they use it in so many different ways. But we just thought it was the perfect fit for a taverna cookbook.
So how did the idea come to life, and how, because I know that you were obviously in Greece with your mum traveling, and Vicky was back here in Australia. So how did that process work in bringing the book together?
Well, we actually shot like 70 of the recipes here in Sydney. So we obviously write them and test them. It might take 2 to 3 goes to get there. But yeah, all the basic recipe, like most recipes were done here. And then I did all the location stuff by myself with mum. So yeah, Vicky and I had quite a lot of FaceTime chats to get edits in. All the stories were recorded in Greek. So I had to get them, speak Greek, but they talk quite fast and I can't understand all of the words. So we got my cousin in Greece to translate that. And then we put the stories back into, a story in a text form. So Vicky and I were both working on that. But yeah, it was a lot of like back and forth chat, doing the edits over the phone. So yeah, it was a bit stressful, but we got there in the end, and Vicky's focused more on like the here in Australia with all the recipes we had shot, and I did the Greek research. So
how incredible to have those audio recordings. It's almost like a little bit of history that you've captured and can hold on to. That's really special.
It really, really was, yeah.
And I know that you're both very hands-on with the books. You don't have, lots of different teams that come in, which is sometimes the case with other cookbooks. You do most of it yourselves, don't you?
Well, yeah, look, Vicky and I are quite OCD, and we needed to be there we needed to be in control of like how the recipes look. So yeah, Vicky and I cooked all the recipes. We made one rule that whoever wrote the recipe cooks each other's recipes, just to pick up on any edits or notes. But yeah, we did all the cooking. We had a friend do, like, all the girls in the team were like friends that we'd known. So we had Bonnie did the photography, Jess did the styling, and then our friend Lauren did all the prop styling. So we had a really close group, and we just it was a really special time together.
I bet. Amazing. And so when you and Vicky are working together, do you always agree? Do you have arguments? Is it kind of like, does one take the lead? Is there any behind the scenes little gossip you can give us?
Yeah, look, I feel like we have moments. So like if one of us are quite passionate about something, that person takes over. It's like we're not doing that. And I or Vicky will be like, that's fine and go with it. So we have our moments. Sometimes I feel like we do agree on quite a lot of things because we have similar taste in recipes and we have the same, ideas and aesthetics and concepts in our heads. So look, Oppa was I feel like Oppa, we agreed on quite a lot of things. It was more just, even the cover design, we both wanted to get that right. So, yeah, that took a few goes for us to both kind of get this idea behind our head. Like it was a table, we had the chairs, we wanted that feel. But yeah, look, we're pretty good. Yeah.
Well done. So what is your focus moving forward? I know you potentially have plans to go back to London. Talk us through what the future holds for you in terms of projects or passions or goals.
I feel now I'm just in this little bubble of just kind of chasing the next big thing. I do want to go back to London to finish my visa. I'm on a 2-year visa. I just feel like London at the moment has quite a lot to offer, and I say hustling because I just put myself out there. Whether I get a no, I'll just move on to, the next thing. And yeah, just being in an uncomfortable situation like that where you go overseas and yeah, take risks. I don't know. I'm just at that stage in my life where I just want to, keep exploring the food world and, meeting new people, writing recipes. I'd love to do another cookbook. I think going back this year and going back to Greece to do more research, creating more content. Yeah, I just feel like the choices are endless, really.
And talking about content, I know that you had a really fun channel, and I'm just trying to think of the name of it.
Yeah.
Eat Like a Greek.
Yeah, I did Eat Like a Greek. It was last year and the year before I'd started it. I did 40 episodes, and 3 of the videos went viral. It was like one had 10 mil, one got 9.5, and some other one. And I shot that here in Sydney, so I had a really good flow of videos. But when I moved to London, I just kind of stopped it a bit because I was really enjoying life there, but I'm getting back into it. So I'll slip back into that, but I've got a different concept this time. Not Eat Like a Greek, something more about the Tavenas and the stories around the food I've eaten in Greece.
So watch this space.
Yes. Yeah, I need to. No, I'm currently in the process of filming that. So yeah.
But I love your appetite for challenging yourself and putting yourself out there, because if you don't do that, you never, what do they say? That you've got to kind of walk through the door to find opportunity. You've got to just
for sure
find people and situations and offers and just put yourself out there and see what happens. And I think that's often how you learn about yourself and where the journey can take you. So well done for doing that.
I think even for London, for me, you just meet this different, a different personality, different side of yourself that you didn't think you could step into that and put yourself out there. But yeah, it's really important to do that. I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't done that. So,
and I know you met Ottolenghi. So, very big food hero for many people in the world, especially for many of our audience.
Very, very starstruck. Yeah, I don't know how it happened, but I got invited to 2 of his events, and one of them was at Rovi, and yeah, it was really, really special moments. So fingers crossed to hopefully work for him one day. That's the dream. That's what I've put out to the universe. So we shall see.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And potentially some other cookbooks.
Yeah, look, cookbooks are what we love to do. They're a labor of love, but they hold on to stories, and there's something we'll keep forever. So yes, another book is in the works. I just don't know what. Or I need a little break just for now, just to kind of
fair enough. I mean, you've really
Oppa.
only just launched it, so you can enjoy the fruits of your labour for a little while longer.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention, we're very excited that you and Vicky have very kindly offered a signed copy of Oppa for one of our lucky Straight to the Source listeners. So everyone head to the show notes to find out how to enter. But I'm going to give you a little hint. It's going to be to do with your favourite food memory. And on that, what is your favourite food memory of all time and why?
Ooh, I would have to say our yaya's pasticcio. After school, we would request this dish. It's like they say the Greek lasagna, pasta, bolognese and bechamel. It's something our yaya would make. And I think for me, if I'm ever missing, those memories, I always go back to that. So yeah, having pasticcio after school with our yaya in Adelaide, hot summer days, the Australian feel is what really hits me with those memories.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now we're going to do a little quick fire round.
Okay.
Quick fire round.
Yeah.
So you ready?
Yeah.
Who's the boss in the kitchen, you or Vicky?
Me.
What's the most unglamorous part of publishing a cookbook?
The most unglamorous. Oh my God.
Doing the dishes?
Yeah, okay, no, yes, for sure. But yeah, all the dishes that nobody sees, for sure.
I put words in your mouth if there's something
but you're
else.
right, because I'm sitting there going, wait, normally I'm in my pajamas and I'm like dressed like a bum, like cooking, and no one sees that side.
The recipe you're most proud of in Oppa?
Let's say pasticcio, yaya's pasticcio. I have to,
beautiful
because
food
it's
memory.
just, yeah.
A Greek food people are often scared to cook but shouldn't be.
Maybe moussaka, because I feel like there's so many layers to it. And it is a labor of love. But yeah, let's say moussaka, maybe.
Okay. The moment you realised food wasn't just a hobby anymore.
I think we started writing cookbooks. Yeah.
Your go-to meal when you're short on time, but you really want something comforting.
Oh, I make hilopites, which is small little square pastas. I literally put butter, chicken stock, hilopites, water, and I let it simmer down, and then I add Greek cheese in it. It's just like
Delicious.
Yeah, it's like comfort in a bowl.
Finish this sentence. Food to me is
my life, really. Yeah.
I love that. It certainly is. And like I said at the beginning, I think, you have put so much hard work behind the scenes into what you've achieved and where you are now. And there's so much more to come, because I know you, and I know you're always going to be like pushing at the next door and finding that next opportunity and taking it to the next level. And I have a very clear memory of when we worked together at Delicious, whether we were working or out with the team. You were always the person that made sure that everybody had eaten. And if they hadn't, you were making sure that they were going to be fed.
I was the feeder, yeah.
You were, but that was I really took away that memory, because it was something that, is so, I think really sums you up. You're just such a beautiful, giving, generous person.
Lucy,
and food is very much,
at
the heart of what you do. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I love that. And I can't wait for whoever gets the Oppa.
I know. We'll have to announce it on social media.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, where can people get a copy?
Well, you can get it from Amazon, Smith Street's website, Dimmix. Yeah.
Awesome.
All of those.
And follow you on what channels?
Well, Instagram.
Yeah.
Perfect. For now,
we'll put the links in the show notes so people can find you.
Perfect.
And then we'll watch that space for what's coming next after Eat Like a Greek. But I think that we just have to say Oppa to finish the interview.
Yes.
Oppa. Thank you so much for listening in. We really hope you enjoyed the conversation.
We would be keen to hear from you if you have a story to share or a topic we should bring into our conversations. And a special thank you to Unox Australia for their support in this series, where leadership meets the future of food.